All right. Hello, boys and girls. Let's all settle down. Everybody take a seat. Demetrius, Sabrina, come on now. Uncle Mary has to go back to work, so why don't we all settle down and take a seat. Aloha to all the students at Chiefess Kamakahele Middle School. My name is Mayor Derek Kawakami, and I want to thank you for having me in your class today as part of your career day. I am the mayor of Kauai, and previously I've served on the county council and the House of Representatives as well. And I have come to Chiefess Kamakahele School before to talk about career day. I think this might be my first career day as mayor, so I'm very excited to be here. And thank you for having me. Usually I'm in your classroom, but we're gonna pretend today, okay? So today I have a pretend middle school student. His name is Alden Alaivila. He's a 6th grader at Chiefess Kamakahele Middle School. He also is one of our public information officers. So if you see a press release or a media release, he works on some of my scripts. He does a lot of things as far as communication. He's my student today, okay? So I'm the mayor, and I know you folks have a lot of questions, so why don't I start off by just answering some of your questions. Timothy, hi there.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. What skills and responsibilities does your job entail?
Oh, that's a good question, Timothy. Some of the good skills are skills that you're going to learn right here in school. And one of the best skills that you can have to be a mayor or any sort of public servant is being able to listen. And when you're in school, that's one thing that we all should be working on, is listening to instructions, listening to our teacher, because when you listen, that is where you start to learn about things. You learn about your community, you learn about people's needs, and when you learn about what people need, that is when you can start creating a plan to respond to those needs. So that's a good question. Some of our responsibilities is to serve the general public. As the mayor of the county of Kauai, some of our big responsibilities include serving our county roads, making sure that they're safe. Many of the parks that you play in are county parks. We also have a police department, a fire department, and during this COVID-19 pandemic, many of us are working 2 jobs. We work our regular county job, and as mayor, that's everything that I've spoken about, the roads, parks, infrastructure. When you flush the toilet, where does that water go? It just doesn't disappear into thin air. It has to go someplace. When you turn the water on, water comes out. Where does that water come from? Those are all a part of what the county of Kauai does as well. And then with COVID-19, we have to work with the state Department of Health and other partners to make sure that we keep the island safe and yet make sure that people still can get to their jobs and they can make money. And it's a great big balancing act. So thank you, Timothy. Do we have another question? Hey, Kimo.
Hi, Mayor. Hi. What do you most enjoy about your job?
Oh, that's a good question. I enjoy a lot of things, but the most meaningful thing that I enjoy, Kimo, is just helping people. That's really what I think is the best thing about being a mayor, is every single day there's an opportunity to help people. And when I get to help people, it makes me feel happy. And so when I tell people that I have the best job I could ever dream of, I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart, because that's what mayors do. We try to help people. We try to solve problems without creating too much more problems in trying to solve other people's problems. And at the end of the day, there's a sense of accomplishment that I get to go home. And it's a really fulfilling, meaningful type of job opportunity for somebody like me that just loves to help people. Thank you, Kimo. Do we have another question?
Hi, Mayor.
Oh, Jeremy.
What are some challenges you face in your job?
Oh, Jeremy, I tell you, the the job and the life of a mayor is full of challenges. Sometimes we even start taking on other people's challenges. Some of the big challenges are being able to address everybody's needs, and that seems at times as an impossible task. But I think it's something that every mayor really strives to do, to be able to address as many of people's problems that they might have. The other challenge is decisions come with consequences. And so when we make decisions, we have to make sure that we have in place resources to address the consequences that come with that. But many of the challenges that I have are similar to some of your challenges. I'm pretty sure that at times in school, many of you have felt that you just couldn't get anything right, that everything you did was wrong. I just want to tell you kids that, you know, it even happens to me as mayor. It's a part of life. So I don't want you folks beating yourself up or, you know, getting too hard on yourself because you have a hard time, you know, figuring out a certain problem. If you find yourself in that situation, just just focus on getting a little bit ahead. You know, if the problem is huge, let's start just addressing small parts of the problem. Because one of the biggest challenges that I face as mayor is being able to differentiate or trying to figure out the difference between things that I can control and things that I can fix and things that I just cannot control. So, you know, folks, I want you to really think about what I just said. I want you to really think about things that sometimes we spend a lot of time and energy on that really we cannot control. You can stay up, you can worry about it. No amount of work you put in is actually going to be able to change the situation. Instead, what you do is focus on things you can control, right? We cannot control what the world is going to say about us. We cannot control what that person is going to think, but we can control how we respond. If we decide to be kind, if we decide to help other people. So I think that's some of the biggest challenges that we have is that I'm not going to be able to solve everybody's problems. And sometimes people expect me to fix things that, quite frankly, just cannot be fixed. Okay, we got any other questions?
Hi, Mayor.
Oh, Wally.
What are some misconceptions about your job?
Oh, Wally, what are some misconceptions about my job? I think similarly to what I just said, I think some people think that the mayor can fix everything. I'm just a regular human being, but I have a great team. I think that's what sets me apart, is that we do have a big team of people to help me out and to help me fix problems. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, is that if the mayor snaps his finger, that he can make everything better. But people also have to work hard to help meet me halfway, right? In life, in general, that's a fair deal. You meet me halfway, I meet you halfway, we can start fixing some problems. In life, if there's an expectation that you meet me all the way over here on this side of the fence, and then you fix my problem, well, we can do that, but it's gonna take a lot longer. It's probably gonna be frustrating for both of us, and oftentimes it doesn't ever get fixed because what? Two heads are better than one. Many hands working together to solve an issue is always the best way. So thank you for that question. Class, any other question out there? Hey, Alden?
Mayor. How did you get into your career?
I got elected, got into this career. Oh, that's quite oversimplifying it. Well, mayors get into office by getting elected into office, and that means there's an election. I go out into the community and I explain to people about why I want to be mayor and why I feel that they should give me a shot as mayor. And if people decide that I'm the right person, come election day, they'll vote for me. And if I get enough votes, then I'm going to be lucky enough to get here. But what really got me into this profession is just my love for people. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been sort of an outgoing people person. I grew up in the grocery store industry, so I was always involved in customer service in some sort of way. And I think any type of mayor or any public servant, the reason why they get into that profession and that career is because they want to help others and there's a deep desire to make their community better. Okay, thank you for that question. All right, who's next?
Oh, Mayor, me,
Hi.
me. Hi, Mayor. Who helped you along the way?
Oh, so many people. I gotta tell you, if I start naming names, I'm gonna leave somebody out. So in general, of course, it starts at home with my mom, my dad, my family, you know, my wife, my kids, her family, all of my school teachers, everybody that, you know, when they say it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to support that child becoming a man and even going on into life. It takes a strong community. That question as to who helped me get here, I have so many people to thank, but in general, the people of Kauai, the experiences that I had to go through as a child and as a young adult and as an adult have all really shaped me into who I am today. All right, any other questions?
Hi, Mayor. Good morning,
Oh,
Mayor. Hi,
Michael.
Mayor. What is your normal day like?
Well, you know, a typical day is, you know, the sun will come up from the east and traverse over the island and then set into the west. And then in between that period, and oftentimes before any of you are awake, I will wake up really early, maybe about 4:30 in the morning. I will wake up, and I really love this time of day because it's quiet. The only people that are up are those folks that are getting up early for work. But in my house, my wife is still sleeping, my daughter is sleeping, my dogs, of course, will wake up when I wake up, but it gives me some time to think. So I wake up early and I just enjoy the peace and quiet. I usually drink some coffee. If the waves are good, I will usually start getting my surfboards into my truck, and I'll try to get down to the beach before the sun gets up so that I get at least an hour of surfing in before I get to work. I usually try to start the day off with just peace, quiet, and then showing some self-love and self-appreciation and doing something that I really want to do. And because if I take care of what I really want to do before the rest of the world is up, I can focus my energy on taking care of everybody else. And that's really what creates a balanced me. That's what keeps me on an even keel. And I think you folks need to remember that life is about balance. You cannot just play, and you cannot just work. You cannot just serve people and try to make people happy. You have to work hard and you have to play. You have to serve others and help others, and you need to help yourself. You need to listen and learn, but if you have younger brothers and sisters, you also have to pay it forward and love them and teach them the right things. So that's the beginning of the day. I usually get into the office. My office staff is wonderful at lining up all the responsibilities that I need to do for that day. And as long as I stay on schedule, right, just like you, as long as I get to the next class when the bell rings and not be tardy, then I'll have a smooth and seamless day. But between there's all sorts of type of issues that come up that we had not anticipated. And that requires me to drop what I'm doing, get off of schedule, and start tending to those things, which is another good lesson for all of you about being flexible. Look, life is going to throw things at you that you don't see. And some of it may be good, and some of it may be not so good. Well, whether it's good and bad, the important thing is that we have people that have an ability to be pliable and flexible, and to be able to, like what Bruce Lee would say, to be like water, to be able to fit into any container, to be very soft yet very hard. And I want you to think about that. That's a very important thing about life, is being able to adapt, being able to change, and being able to respond to different situations. Good question. All right, we got a time for a few more questions. Who else is out there? Kim,
Oh, Mayor,
what's your
I have a
question?
good one for you. I have a good one for you. What is your salary range?
Kim, that's an extremely rude question. You don't ask somebody how much money they make. Don't ever do that, guys. Don't run up to somebody and say how much money you make. That's a rude question. So next question. Nah, I'm just kidding. Mayors make pretty darn good money, I have to say. I make in the range of anywhere between 130 to 140, low $140,000, which is it's a great salary for what I would deem as the best job in the world. Like, in all honesty, when you look for a career, money is important. But my mom and dad would always tell me, son, don't choose a job because of money. Because if you're going to chase after money, you are going to be miserable because there's never going to be enough of it. Find a job that gives you a sense of purpose and that makes you feel good about yourself at the end of the day. Whatever it is, if you want to be a zookeeper, a zoologist, a geologist, if you choose a path that speaks to your heart, if when you wake up in the morning, you are happy to get to work and see your coworkers, and at the end of the day, you're happy to go home because it feels like you've accomplished something, look for something like that. Money is very important in today's world because it provides a way for you to provide for your family and yourself. So let me be straight. You have to work hard. But what's equally important is that you find a career and you find a job that gives you a good sense of purpose and that makes you feel good in your heart when you get to work and when you go home as well. So, thanks, Kim. Any other question?
Hi, Mayor. Hi,
Willie.
Mayor. Hi. Do you have any tips or life hacks you can share?
Oh, yeah. When I was in middle school, we didn't have middle school, by the way, it was intermediate. So they threw us in the jungle. 7th and 8th graders were up at Kauai High School in intermediate, so we didn't have the luxury of a middle school back then. My life hack is this. People are going to remember you for how you made them feel. And this will go all the way back to how you treat people in middle school and how you treat people in high school. And yeah, there are ways for people to redeem themselves if they didn't treat everybody, what we say is pono. And there are ways to make amends, but I will tell you this, that if there's one thing I can tell you is it's always great to have friends before you need a friend. And that just goes back to the golden rule of treat others as you would want to be treated, because things that you do today, people ain't going to forget about it moving on. And they're not going to forget how you as a person made them feel. The other thing I would say is don't take middle school for granted. It is some of the best years that you're going to have for the rest of your life. And for some of you kids out there that may feel a little awkward, maybe you feel like you're a round peg trying to get into a square hole, look, it's perfectly fine. Middle school and high school can just seem like a treacherous place to be, but work hard. If you can get to college, because you will find a group of people that are gonna just be like that round peg trying to fit into a square hole, and you're gonna find your flock. You're gonna find You're a flock of strange birds that are just like you. So I can remember when I was in intermediate, it felt like every little thing was a crisis. And it's not. You know, this is just a part of growing up. This should be a fun time in your life. Join a sport. If you don't like sports, find an instrument, sing, find a hobby, try to help somebody. And this should be the best time in your life. But people are going to remember you. Remember that. It's going to follow you. You don't ever want to be labeled in life as somebody that's hard to work with. Believe me, you're going to need people to help you. Everybody needs help. Every single day as mayor, I need help. And it's okay to ask for help. So if you need help, do not feel like you cannot ask for help. Ask your friends. If you don't have friends, ask your teacher. If the teacher cannot help you, ask anybody, but talk to somebody. All right? Good question. All right. Who else got a
Mayor,
question?
hi.
Romeo.
Which Kauai CKMS teachers would you like to give a shout out to? Or any former students?
That's a trick question. So if any of you folks want to be mayor or want to get elected into office, don't ever fall into the trap of having to name a specific person that you want to thank. And I tell you why. If I just name one teacher, say like if I want to thank Mr. Matsunaga, you know what I just did? I only thanked Mr. Matsunaga. And I don't know how many teachers I may have offended because I didn't name them by name, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to say this. I want to thank all the teachers out there, all the faculty and staff, the custodial staff, the cafeteria workers, every single person that's part of education. I want to thank you because you folks are the engineers and the architects of society. You're the ones that design and lay out the foundation of our young kids and start giving them the tools to be great adults and great leaders and for them to have good kids. You know, our teachers, they don't get thanked enough. They definitely don't get paid enough. But I can tell you, there are some truly influential people in my life. And on that list of influential people, in my mind, it's filled with teachers that had to be hard on me, right? Teachers that had to tell me things that I didn't want to hear, that had to show me tough love because I used to be kolohe, you know? I was a little rascal in school, but those teachers never gave up on me. And they always were in my ear. And to this day, when they see me, they always remember me. They tell me how proud they are and how surprised that I became who I am because they never would have imagined that a kid like me would grow up and become the mayor. So this is a lesson. None of my teachers ever probably thought that I had it, you know, what it took to be a mayor. And it's not that they didn't like me, they just didn't think. But if I can do it, any single one of you kids can do it. If you put your mind to it and you focus your energy on getting something accomplished, and if you're willing to work hard, and if you're willing to just say, you know what, I couldn't get it done today, but I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get it done tomorrow, and you have that drive to do something, there's nothing that can stop you. If people tell you you can't do it, use that energy to fuel that fire and burn through that and just get things done. So, thank you to all the teachers, faculty, and staff, especially to the students out there. Look, be kind to each other. If there's bullies out there, you better stop it because it just ain't cool in this day and age. Like it's out, okay? It ain't cool to be a bully. Be cool. If you're strong, help the weak, all right? That's cool and that's leadership. So, until next time, thank you so much for having me as your speaker today. Let's try to get through this virus because it's getting old and I want to get to Disneyland. And we want to get you kids back into those classrooms full time. So thank you so much. Love and aloha. Peace out.